Hello friends, welcome to 𝘊𝘙𝑒 Analytics video session 141. So basically in today's video, we will try to understand, the formatting options which are available for a combo chart. Okay. So yeah, let's get started. So here we will go to Analytics Studio. And of course, I will select the same dataset by which I have been, exploring all the chart option. So we will take this dataset itself and we will select the combo chart. Now, as you can see here, these are the conditions. Okay. So maybe what I can do is I can quickly jot down my notepad as well very quickly. Yeah. Now, first thing to remember is like for a combo, you need these things, okay? Which means to display a combo, you need at least two fields. So definitely you need two fields for y-axis, and the next part is optional, okay? So you need at least two fields. So let's say I select the sum of amount, okay? And here I have to again select the average of amount. Okay. Now, as you can see, that's where the something will get displayed. So that's the thing of combo chart. You need at least two field on the y-axis. Now under x-axis, maybe I can select something like let's say industry. Okay. So this is how it looks like. Fine. And now we can explore the formatting options which are available over here. So title, of course, I can just go by this name, formatting options of combo chart. Okay. Yeah. And if I select the combo chart, now as you can see here, there's something called as tag bars. Okay, this checkbox is there. Now, if I enable this, okay, so basically nothing is coming right now. Maybe we will explore this a bit later. So this is about the stack bars. Fine. Now here we have something called as compact value. If you don't want to show the compact value, you can just ignore this. And if you want to show it as numbers, this is how the number is going to appear, which is untidy. Now we can select this one. Okay. Now, maybe what I can do is I can also select something like stage over here. Okay. So now, so anyways, now let's remove this one as of now. That's fine. Okay. Now this is coming as this one now, number of decimal digits. So basically, the number of decimal digits which will happen here is basically, let's say, I mean, this is understandable that, specify number of events value type is compact number. So if it is a compact, you have to specify the zeros, okay, the number of decimal digits. We already walked through earlier, that's fine. Okay, now, as you can see here, it's coming as show value as line chart. So that for line, for whatever line you have, if you want to show that value, you can show that value as well. If you want to show it as number, this is how it will appear, which is looking a bit untidy. Maybe I can go for compact number only, okay, which is fine. So as you can see for this line also, this number is appearing, okay. Maybe instead of average, if I can just go for maximum, will that work out? I think, yeah, I think maximum is looking fine. At least I can see something, okay. That's the thing about this one, fine. Okay, now comes this one, that number of decimal digits, okay. Now, if you don't want to show this point, so as you can see here, like if I disable this one, you won't see the points for this line. Now, if you want to show it, you can just simply click on over here. Now, what is this axis mode? If you want to show it as dual axis, this is how it will look like. I think this is looking much more neat, where in one side you have something related to sum, and in the other side you have something related to maximum of amount. Okay. Now, what is the missing values? If you want to show the missing value as gaps, you can show that here. I think I probably don't have any missing value. That's why I'm not getting that option. Okay. But anyways, we can walk through this in one of the sessions where, we can have certain missing values and we can show you what are that things. Okay. So ignore show continuous lines. If you want to show as gap, it will show as gap. Okay. For now, I think we can ignore because that's fine. Anyhow, it will not matter. Okay. Then we have something called as auto fit. If you want, you can just set it to none, or if you can just deconfit, it's going to fit up. Okay. Then comes the series. Basically, select whether each measure appears as a bar or line. Now, basically, if I customize the series, right now, I can choose how I want that sum of amount. For example, the sum of amount is appearing as bar. Maybe I can leave as it is, but let's say the average of amount. Okay. Now, the maximum amount, let's say I want to see it as bar only. Then it will appear in this manner. Okay. Now, if I want to see it as dot, so basically that's how this dot is going to appear for me. Okay. So that's the thing about this one, where we can have a lot of other y-axis and we can check it. Fine. As it's mentioned over here, display at least two fields is required. Now comes the x-axis. So here, of course, we can disable this option, which is same as prior to that. Okay. Now y-axis also same thing. Y-axis also on the right, the same thing. Okay. Now legends and all, everything is same. We won't walk through this part. Okay. Now, let's say I just go for something like, let me see if I can go something like average of amount maybe. Now, if I go for average of amount, okay, and let's say I take something over here on stage. Fine. Okay, the stage is making a bit untidy. Let me delete this one. And let's say on the trellis, I take something like stage. Okay. So on the trellis, this is how it's looking like, which is of course not making any sense, which is fine. So let me just delete this one. Okay. So that's how this is appearing here. I think this is as of now not much of use. I don't see the option of this stat bars which is there. Okay, let's say remove this one, the average of amount, and let's say find something like stage. Okay, okay, I see that stage one after the other, but here it won't make sense. So let's do one thing here. For example, instead of dual axis, let me go for single axis. Okay, the single axis also is becoming a bit untidy. Let's say I go for bar itself. Okay, so that's how this is done. Fine. Okay, now interestingly, you can see it over here. Okay, as of now, for example, I have this agri industry and stage. Okay, now what's the meaning of the stack bars? So as you can see here, like for industry, and I think I need both of them, which is fine. Now the thing is that I have this agriculture as well as I have the stage defined over here somewhere. Okay, fine, which is being shown over here. Now if I want to stack it one over the other, I can do that in this manner. Fine, it's stacked one over the other. Maybe if I remove the stage, I think this will not work out. So for example, right now it is like this. So as you can see, once I click on stack bars, it's defined as one over the other. So basically this one, you have to ensure that the axis mode is single axis, because if you go for dual axis, I don't think so. In that case, it will work out. Okay, in that case also it will work out, which is fine. Okay, let's try with small multiples. I'm not sure with small multiples if it will work out or not. Okay, with small multiples, this will become disabled, as you can see. So whenever you have sum of amount and maximum amount, and let's say on the x-axis you have taken as something like industry, fine. What happens is, like here, of course, if you just choose the axis mode as small multiples, you won't be able to stack the bars. But if you choose something like single axis, this is how ideally the single axis looks like. But if you want to stack one bar over the other, okay, then you can definitely choose this option. Fine, that's why it's basically stacked one over the other. And yeah, you can explore the rest of the things of compact number. Ideally compact number makes sense, okay, where it will round it off to that nearest number instead of showing all the, I mean, instead of showing all the 7 or 8 digits, which makes it untidy. And yeah, here you have further things where you can ensure that it's shown as gap or whatever way you want to define. Okay, and right now, let's say if you don't want to customize the series, so that's why it appears over here. Fine. So if you want to customize the series, I have shown it as bar. So if you disable that option, that's how it comes up over here right now. Okay. Now, one thing to notice here is, like, of course, the maximum of amount has to be as bars. Okay. So that has to be as bar, then only this option will work out. For example, earlier it was not working out. The reason being, I took it as a line. Okay. So if you took it as a line, basically if you stack it as well, that will not matter. So you have to ensure both of them are in bars. Okay, so that's one thing to notice. Like here, yeah, if you enable this option of customize series, if it's not enabled, definitely that will just appear as line. In that case, you won't be able to know about this tag bars option. But if you just enable this series, okay, then if you go for the, let's say, the maximum amount as something like bars once again, then you can actually stack it up. Okay, that's the way. And if you want, you can show it as line, or you can show it as dot as well. Now I can bring further things, and I can do that as well. For example, I go for average of amount. Now average of amount, what I want to do is, let's say the average of amount, I want to show it as line. Okay, so that average amount is coming as line right now. And probably I can go for dual axis in this case. It will make much more sense. Okay, at least the convention is proper. Fine, that is fine. In one of the axes is defining the maximum of the average, and another is defining the sum of amount. Okay, so yeah, a lot of things to explore actually. Fine, you can actually explore a lot of things by over here. So definitely in combo charts, a few things to remember is how we can utilize the stack bus option. So in that case, you have to ensure when it's a combo, it's not a line and a chart, but it's not a line and a bar, but it's a two of them are used as bar. In that case, you can stack the bars. Okay, just like you can do it in columns. Fine. And other than that, like you can disable the point. That's fine. That is available in most of the things. But this is also important. Like you can customize the series where if you select the thing, select whether each measure appears as a bar or a line. So whether they are told as a bar or line, but you can also appear it as a dot. Okay. So if you want, you can customize the series where whatever measures you have taken, you can actually put them as a line or a dot. That is one thing to remember over here. And after that, of course, you can play around, which is fine. And after that, of course, this x-axis is whatever axis you want to show the legends. We have done it earlier as well. Okay, so quite an interesting thing, over here. And of course, if I bring the list, it becomes a bit different. But as of now, it's looking wonderful over here the way it is. Okay, so I think probably what I can do is finally I can save it as single axis itself. Okay, and with small multiples, you won't be able to stack. That is another thing. So I can go for, and with but small multiples, if you go for small multiples, it's also a different way of representation if you see, right? So with small multiples, what is happening, you are having different axes defined. Sometimes what happens, like in my case, when I was selecting the sum and average, if you go for single axis, it becomes a bit untidy when the value is very small compared to the other measure. For example, if I go for count and if I go for, let's say, sum of amount, in that case, it won't make sense if I go for single axis. Okay, so I hope you understood that part. Like again, if I just explore, I mean, just if I bring it up and let's say I go for this combo chart. When I go for combo chart, let's say the count of rows and I also take the sum of amount. Okay, so I have the count of rows and the sum of amount on, let's say, on the x-axis, I define the industry. Okay, now in such scenarios, so if you go for formatting, what is happening is the count is very small. Okay, the sum of amount is reflecting, but the count of rows is there, but it's just that it's very small where it won't appear for you. I mean, the client won't be able to see that. Okay, so in that case, what you can do is instead of single axis, I think dual axis also to some extent. Of course, dual axis makes sense as well because you have two different graphs defined over here. Like one of them is for the sum of amount, okay, where you have one of the axis, and in another one you have the axis for the count of rows. So in that case also it makes sense. Otherwise, if you go, and one more thing is, when you enable this option of single axis, you see only the y-axis left will appear. But if you go for dual axis, you will have both the y-axis left as the y-axis right. Okay. Now in this case, you can also go for small multiples where it is going to show up in this manner as well. Okay. So yeah, different ways you can show it up. Like sometimes depending upon what kind of scenarios you want to see, and depending upon how one of the measure is smaller or bigger compared to the other one, you can choose your own variation. Okay. So yeah, that is all about this one. And maybe here I can just save this as formatting options of combo chart. Let me very quickly save it. Okay, maybe I won't go for small multiples. I can go for single axis only. Okay, and here I think I can remove one of. I think that is fine. Three of them is fine. Okay, and I think this is looking good only. So I can go for formatting options of combo chart. Okay, so formatting options of combo chart, I will save it in my recipe data set and let's see. Okay. Yeah, that's it about this video. And yeah, let's meet very soon in our next one. Thank you.